Okay, it's 6:30. I am going to call this meeting of the Shaftsbury Select Board to order at 6:30 on May the 4th. Be with you, also known as Star Wars Day. I want to mention to people who will be watching this later on YouTube who are hoping maybe to watch it tonight on cable TV. There was a scheduling conflict with the Bennington Select Board reviewing the police report that they recently got. And so they cannot carry two live meetings at the same time in the current uh, COVID-induced setup that they're using to broadcast. So this will not be going out live, but we are recording it, and we will send the recording to Cat TV, and it will end up on YouTube. And I'm relatively certain it will also be rebroadcast on cable TV later. I need to check with the select board to see if anyone has a conflict of interest with anything appearing on the agenda this evening. Joe,
No.
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 Ken,
No.
Tony,
No.
Tim, no. Okay, we have minutes to approve, do we not, David? Did we approve the 6th and the 20th? I can't remember.
It's muted.
Dave, can you hear us?
No.
Sorry, my fault. I didn't unmute. Let me
Okay.
go back to those. We have the 420 water board, 423 special water board, 46, and 420.
Okay. Without objection, I am going to ask to approve those as a group. That is water board on 420, water board on 423, select board on 46, select board on 420. Do I have that, Dave?
Yes, that's correct.
Is there a motion to approve those minutes as a block?
So moved.
I missed one of the water board meetings.
Okay, I would point out, because this came up recently in a BCA meeting, it is not a requirement to abstain from approving minutes at a meeting that you were not involved in. And in fact, there is some in the Roberts Rules of Order realm that say it's actually better to go ahead and approve those, indicating that you support the actions of the clerk and the other members in that. So if that's okay with you, Joe, we'll
Excellent. Yeah, very
go
good.
ahead and do that. So we have a motion from Ken, seconded by Tony. Any discussion? Question is, shall we approve the minutes for the water board on the 20th, the water board on the 23rd of April, the select board on the 6th of April, and the select board on the 20th of April? All those minutes were circulated. Joe,
Aye.
Art,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Tim, yes. So that all those minutes are approved by a vote of 500. Next up, warrants. I have one warrant for payroll. Is that it?
There are 2 warrants for payroll. This morning I sent you the check warrant and a payroll warrant. Melanie sent you a payroll warrant at around noontime. So you should have 2 payroll warrants and 1 check warrant.
Let me check my email. I have one payroll warrant, and that is it. You say you sent me a warrant by email today?
I sent it at 11:52.
I saw that one, and that's should be the only one I have, a payroll warrant. But Dave says he sent me a check warrant.
Okay, hold on one second. Wait a minute, let's look here. Oh. Hold on, why don't you do that payroll warrant and I'll resend this one to you.
Okay. I have payroll warrant number 22 in the amount of $22,173. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Moved by Ken, second by Tony. Any discussion on the payroll warrant? All in favor of approving the payroll warrant? Joe?
Aye.
Art?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim votes yes. So payroll warrant number 22 in the amount of $22,173 is approved by a vote of 500. And if everyone will just be patient with us here for a moment, we'll try to get those others up here. How about, if there's no objection, we skip over part of the warrants and the announcements and go to public comments, because I know we have Jenny Rozicki here, who is anxious to give us information about the library. Do I have any objection to that?
No.
No.
Okay, public
Go
comments.
ahead.
Jenny, you looks like you're the one.
Okay. Thanks so much. Just checking in. I felt it was um the responsible thing to do to check in with y'all and let you know what's going on at the library. So the library has been closed since mid-March, and at present, I'm watching what's going on with the reopening of the state, but I can't offer a reopening date at present. Um, but I'd like to highlight that we still offer a number of services online. And all of these you can activate a card at the McCullough Library online now through our website. There's an application link right at the top of the page. And Shaftsbury residents are warmly welcome to apply and activate their membership and access thousands of ebooks and digital audiobooks through Overdrive. We have 500 plus online courses through Universal Class, and these classes are anything from basic computing skills to fun things like cake decorating or how to take care of pets. Really interesting variety in there. We offer research databases and homework help, and you can get to those through our website. The link to Vermont Online Library automatically grants you access. It kind of figures out your location and grants you access as a McCullough Library member. Let's see. We also, within Vermont Online Library, there's Learning Express, which is a suite of computer skills, and job seeking resources. So I know that's very much on people's minds at present. So there are resources there that are available. And I'm really pleased to announce that we just secured a grant through the Fund for North Bennington to bring Linda Library, which is a really top shelf online courses and tutorial suite, which focuses on software, entrepreneurship, advanced computing. So it kind of fits in with sort of the tech jobs initiatives that are out there and are important for job seekers. So it's really an interesting resource, and we'd be the first library in Vermont to offer that. We're also looking forward to our summer reading club for kids to help keep their reading skills sharp through the coming months. And through this grant, we were also able to purchase an app that will allow parents and kids to track their reading a little better. So we're trying to prepare for any further closures and the after effects of the current closings. So that's what's up at the library. And if you want to activate your membership, there's a link right on our website that allows you to do that online. It's a provisional account that'll get you access to the digital services.
So you were not doing, for example, curbside book pickup?
This is something we're considering, but I'm having a bit of trouble, to be honest, trying to figure out how we'll get enough materials to sanitize returns adequately. And I'm really waiting for best practices to be widely adopted. There are some libraries who are doing this, and we are looking into it, but we need to do it safely. And I'm not entirely convinced at this point.
Okay. Well, good. Thank you for that update. Are there any other public comments? Okay, Dave, I do not have an email. Do you have warrants in front of that you can see?
Yep, no, you'll have them now. I scanned it to the wrong file. You'll have it in the Dropbox. It'll say scan 04. It'll be the last one on today's date.
I got it. I'm just trying to bring it up. Okay, here is the second payroll warrant. It is, nope, sorry, this is check warrant.
The
Check
payroll's
warrant number 29 in the amount of $24,950.23. Is there a motion to approve? If you would, since I can't look at the screen and the documents at the same time all the time, if when you make a motion, say your name.
This is Ken. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve check warrant number 29 from Ken. Is there a second?
This is Art, the second.
Thank you. Okay, major items on this one include $2,400 to Bennington County Sheriff, $2,100 to Business Card Services.
That is 2,000 of that is a new computer, a laptop for the treasurer to replace her computer so we can work remotely. And we're moving her computer. That'll replace one of the Lister computers. So it's actually replacing two for the price of one. And the another charge on it is $70 for a weight scale permit for the transfer station.
Okay. $7,200 to Dufresne Group, which is engineering with the water system. $2,100 to Sycamore Landscaping. $2,100 to UI Insurance Services. I don't recognize that one.
That's a fire department insurance policy that they carry for their members.
1,400 to VT Department of Environmental Conservation.
That is our municipal road general permit fee.
3,100 to Woods CRW Corporation.
That's the repair on the Volvo.
What was that, Dave?
Repair on the Volvo, Ken.
Yeah, what was it repaired though?
Well, it goes on for about 2 paragraphs. Let me see if I can summarize it here. There were a number of sensors that went bad. The engine and the differential pressure sensors failed. Very low burner temperature. Goes on for a couple of pages here.
All right.
Fuel gauge working intermittently. Hydraulic system failure. A few broken lights. A little laundry list here of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, that just seems like, I know it don't take long to get pretty good expense on that stuff, but for a machine no older than that sounds a little excessive.
Yeah, this is a kind of a large expense for this machine, but it just plain wouldn't stop. The biggest problem with it was we had to truck it up to Williston because it costs more for them to come down and fix.
Oh, no, I understand that, Nate. But I mean, that charge right there is for the machine itself.
Yes, that's just them working on the machine.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, that machine's only 7 years old. And
Yeah,
for no more hours than that's got on it, that's quite a lot of money,
yep.
I think.
I don't know. Sounds like a long list of things for $3,100. I've had things on my car break and they were one thing that cost that much.
Yeah, but you're not talking about a car tip. I mean, it can be a lot of small stuff, but still, with a machine that costs over $100,000, an excavator, they should be tougher than that.
Okay, other items I see William E. Daly for 700. Repulsor kennel for $500. Bennington County Regional Commission, $500. That's for the Solid Waste Alliance. Looks like, is that our quarterly contribution there?
Yes.
Any other questions or comments or discussion on check warrant number 29? All in favor of approving check warrant number 29? Joe?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim, yes. So check warrant number 29, $24,950.23 is approved 500. Next I have payroll warrant number 21, the amount of $22,171.09. Is someone willing to move that?
So moved.
Moved by Tony. Is there a second?
Second, Joe.
Second by Joe. Any discussion on payroll? All in favor of approving payroll warrant number 21, $22,171.09. Joe?
Aye.
Art?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim? Yes. That payroll warrant is approved by a vote of 500. Did we get them all?
You have one more, the one that Melanie sent you today. That was the one in the email.
Right. I was so excited about having it, I forgot to do it. Payroll warrant number 22, $22,173. Is someone willing to move?
So moved.
Moved by Ken. Is there a
Second.
second? Second by Tony. Discussion? All in favor, Joe,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Tim, yes. Payroll warrant number 22, $22,173 is approved 500. Okay, announcements. Big announcement that you'll be hearing a lot about is a change in the polling place. This has come about, has been brought to our attention by the town clerk, discussed extensively by the Board of Civil Authority. Due to social distancing requirements, we're looking at a lot of changes in polling, and we've got big elections coming up. We've got a primary in August and a general election in November. It was felt that situation in the firehouse was just not big enough to spread people out the way we're going to need to do polling. So after much discussion, many pros and cons discussed, a lot of different venues discussed, it was decided that our best option, and this is even by a split decision, but it was decided that our best option is to hold the election at the new garage on North Road, where the transfer station is. So you will hear, like I say, you'll be hearing more about that. Further discussion related to that on the Board of Civil Authority led to the realization that any election that we hold is going to be a tough thing to pull off in terms of just safety and public health. We are of a mind that the best thing that everyone can do in the upcoming elections is to vote absentee. Right now, our goal is that by the time the elections roll around, no one will show up at the polls because everyone has already voted. So that is our goal, and we encourage you to do that. You can, at this time, request an absentee ballot through the Secretary of State. If you Google My Voter, Vermont, the My Voter page, it will bring up a form that you can fill in very quickly that will show up in our town clerk's computer and trigger her to send you a ballot. The ballots are not available yet, but you can go ahead and request it. I did one today just to make sure it works, and she had the request within minutes. So you'll be hearing more about that, and we know that there'll probably be a lot of reaction to a change because we've been voting at the firehouse for a very long time, but it was felt that this is something that we just have to do for the public health and public safety. Anyone else have any comments on that one? Anybody have any other announcements? Okay, we had public comments a minute ago. Anybody else? I don't see anybody else that has come on. So without interruption, we will move on to our treasurer's report. And Melanie Dexter, are you still out there?
I am still here. Hi there.
Hi.
So do you have the reports I sent you? Let's see, I gave them to Dave last week.
Yeah, you want cash flow?
Yeah, cash flow, let's look at that first. Okay, so the state highway money came in. I can't remember whether it had as of the last meeting. So we were waiting for that and it did come in, which that's the 82,000 you see there. I heaved a big sigh of relief when that happened. So as of today, we have about $160,000 in the bank to get us through the end of the fiscal year. And that's less than I'd like, but we're going to be fine, I think. the warrant you just signed was for not really all that much money, and Dave is pinching every penny until it screams for mercy. So I think we're going to be okay. There might be some money coming in the final school reconciliation. I'll believe it when I see it, but I got something from the state that seemed to indicate that we'll be getting something there that'll give us a little bit more of a buffer. So if you want to just scroll down to see the cash balance as of April 30th, yeah, you can see I said about 160,000. We had 3 payrolls in April, as you can see, so that was part of why it's even lower than you would expect, because that was, even though April's a short month, we did have 3 payrolls in that month. The last payroll in June is going to be, it's landing in such a way that we'll be paying for that probably mostly in the new fiscal year. So, so that's good news for the timing on that. I did talk to the bank. We're going to be able to get our line of credit as of July 1st. So I need to get the cash flow to them. They'll get me the documentation so you guys can actually sign off on that in June so that I can do my first draw on July 1st. They've been resistant to that in previous years, but they seem to have changed their policy. So at some point in May, maybe the next meeting, maybe the, excuse me, maybe the first one in June, I'll have the paperwork for you to sign for the line of credit. If you look at the budget status there, you can see it's so close to last year. It's the only thing is that there's just a cash flow issue. The budget looks great. It's right where we want to be. Anybody have any questions about any of that? Okay, so if you want to take a look at the reserve spreadsheet. There's not all that much going on with that. It's basically just settling up the due to, due from with the general fund, sending money back to it. And I'll be keeping my eye on that too. I know right now there's about $15,000, I think, in money owed to the general fund. So let's see. Yeah, all of those debits in that debit column there, you can see those are all basically money owed to the general fund. There's not all that much because I settled it down to 0, but there'll be a little bit from the warrant that you guys just signed. I don't think I have anything. Oh, yeah, I'd want to remind people to, if anybody's listening to this, make sure you still get your homestead declaration in, even though there's an extension until July 1st. Please still get those in, or you will have such a headache later when the tax bills go out. I don't think I have anything else. Dave, was there anything else I said I was going to bring up at this meeting?
No, I think that's about it. It's just the budget's on track. It's just a little cash flow, which could be rectified by the funding from the education. When and if that happens, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Any other questions about anything?
No. Okay. Thank you, Melanie.
Good. Thanks.
Okay. Next up, emergency manager report from Paul Dancero. I am not hearing Paul. Is anybody hearing Paul?
No.
No, I don't hear him either.
No,
It looked, Paul, on the screen like he went from mute to green,
He's
but
muted
try it
now.
again.
There you go.
Yes. Nope.
you're muted. Oh, there you go.
You might have
right
to
on
leave the
paper.
and rejoin it.
Okay, we will let Paul try to restart his computer, and we will move on. Dave, do you want to do the LEMP, or do you want to wait for Paul to come back?
He should probably be back for that, just in case there is a question for it. And it should only take a moment to approve that.
Okay, we'll move on to item 9. We have received from the Planning Commission a recommendation to expand roadside commercial zone. We asked them to look into this. They have, and have come up with a recommendation. Chris Williams, our planning commissioner, is here. And Chris, if you give me 1 second, I will bring up your letter.
Was this distributed to the whole select board?
It was.
Okay, well, I think the simplest
I
way
believe
to,
I did. Let me ask the select board. I thought I meant to. Did I?
This is Art. I have not seen it.
Okay, my apologies. Maybe I forgot to send it. I will do that. But Chris, if you can,
all
talk us
right,
through what the
let me
Planning Commission
summarize.
has been talking about and what your recommendation is.
Well, the planning commission really spent a lot of time digging into this and talking to people who would be affected by a change. And to put it in the simplest form possible, I would say that the final recommendation is to connect Shaftesbury's commercial district to Bennington's commercial district, which is, in short, to extend from the southernmost end of not roadside commercial, Village Center District, which is commercial, which is by Cleveland Avenue, to the Bennington town line. It's about 8/10 of a mile. Not every acre along that route is suitable for development. There's a wetland, there's steep slopes in a couple of places, but there's sufficient sites there that could accommodate some commercial development. And what the planning commission felt was that, you know, that whole strip across the top of Harwood Hill is zoned commercial by Bennington, and it's pretty active. I mean, you've got businesses like Bennington Furniture, Vermont Roofing, the Market Wagon, West Mountain Animal Hospital. These are important commercial businesses for Bennington, and you know, it trails right off into Shaftsbury by the Robert Frost House. There's one commercial use in Shaftsbury along that stretch, which is an office building. I'm not sure who occupies it at the moment. At the top of the hill there by the town line. Going north, we spent a lot of time looking at expanding north, and our feeling was that the further north you go, the less business there is. So the roadside commercial district ends at West Mountain Road, and if you travel north from there, you have two transient lodging facilities, motels, and then you have a cluster at the bottom. Only in Vermont could you say this, at the bottom of Bottoms Hill, which is, you know, Hidden Valley Road. You have that cluster of Clearbrook Farm, the Chocolate Barn, Becker Fence Company, Bucks Bombs, Barn Sale. So, and oh, and the craft store there, Hertzfeld Studios. So, in talking to the stakeholders there, they feel like they've got a really good mix going on, and they're very happy with everything except the speed limit. but zoning can't get involved in that. So we listened and said yes. But those businesses are all grandfathered. They don't conform with the local zoning of rural residential in that area, but they've been there for a really long time in one form or another, and we don't feel we feel like, well, we considered that should be part of expansion of roadside commercial, but we didn't want to link it all the way back to West Mountain Road. So the sense was that it would be spot zoning. It'd be a little cluster, but it's there regardless of zoning. And so we think that the northern section really is the Shire's scenic byway, and that there are great views of rural Vermont, of the mountains and the forests and the fields along that stretch, and connects to a section in Arlington which has no commercial uses other than the Second Chance Animal Hospital until you get into Arlington Village. So we think it makes a lot more sense to expand southward.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments from the board on that one?
I
I
think
have
it's
a
a good
question.
idea. I
Ken?
think it's a good idea. I think I mentioned that one other time to the board a few years ago. And
Yes, I think it was your suggestion of expanding roadside commercial that got us thinking along these lines.
well, maybe I did something right.
Art?
Yeah, I've got some questions about the grandfathering. If one of those businesses that we spoke about in that cluster were to change hands, um, the grandfathering goes with it. Is that right?
That's correct.
Uh, But that runs out if nobody um, activates it for 1 year. Is that right also?
Right. Abandoned for 1 year and non-compliant uses cease as abandoned.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself. Uh, Say, for example, that Clearbrook changed ownership and they didn't open a farm stand for a year. I think the rules would say they cannot open a farm stand
Well,
again.
we've had a lot of interaction with Andrew Knopfel of Clearbrook in the course of this, and Clearbrook doesn't. Clearbrook exists outside of our zoning, in that they are an agricultural use, are not subject to zoning. They have to recertify every year that 50% or more of their produce for sale is produced on the farm, and that the cheeses and breads and meats that they sell comprise a minority of their commerce.
Okay, but chocolate barns, for example, that those rules would not apply.
No, it's not an agricultural use.
So if the chocolate barn changed hands, it was not a retail establishment for a year. It could not open up again as a retail establishment.
That's correct. But I have to tell you, we spent a lot of time talking to the stakeholders up in that area, and they all expressed a certain kind of ambivalence, more or less, about when you change the zoning, then, well, is it going to go from West Mountain Road to Old Depot Road? That's like a mile and a half, 2 miles. And what does it open the door for? You know, what sort of commercial uses could come in? And people were very happy with the mix that they have right now, but they were kind of looking over their shoulders about what might change it.
Any other comments? Okay, well, since I did not send this around as I intended to, everyone, I will do that. I will make myself a note. Um, if we want to move in this direction in terms of zoning, my recollection is from having been through this before, 6 months is about the minimum time it takes to jump through all the hoops to get something on the ballot. So if we wanted to put a zoning change on the November ballot, we could just about do it if we got going quickly. So I suggest everyone look this over and come prepared to discuss it again next time and see if we want to move in that direction.
Tim, uh, because there really is no action on the zoning going north, all we're really voting on, or we're asking the people to vote on, is the one down to the south. Is that not right, to Bennington?
That is the recommendation of the Planning Commission, yes.
Okay. So we can always come back to this business of the north later on if it comes up again.
Yes. Okay.
It would be voted as a zoning map change. So we'll get cracking and hold hearings if we get the go ahead from you.
Okay. Give us 2 weeks to think about it.
Okay,
All
very
right.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks for your attention.
Okay, Paul, are you with us?
Can you hear me now?
We can. Very good.
All right. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Go right ahead.
Yep. Just had a couple updates wanted to bring to the board tonight and everyone that's listening. First one was last Thursday, the Vermont National Guard, in support of the Vermont Food Bank, had a supplemental feeding site at the Bennington Airport. That was first of several that are going to be planned across the state. There should be another one somewhere in the next 7 to 10 days. And once we get a date, we'll make sure we get that to you, Tim, and that can be posted on our website. The next round will be, instead of MREs, there'll be box meals that are also that are shelf stable, but more of a breakfast and lunch type of box meal setup. Other thing to bring to attention is last Friday on May 1st, Addendum 12 to Governor Scott's Stay Home, Stay Safe executive order was posted. If anyone wants to see full details of it, you can go to the Vermont Agency of Commerce and Community Development website at www.accd.gov. A couple of the highlights, though, from Addendum 12 was by May 4th, today, all businesses that were open, to include municipalities or other sort where had employees working, had to complete a VOSHA COVID-19 mandatory health and safety requirement. It was an online slide and training presentation followed by a certificate. And then some things that start occurring is, effective May 1st, farmer markets were allowed to open for the purpose of food distribution only. Some of them started to do that across the state. Effective today, May 4th, construction, outdoor businesses, industrial, manufacturing, and distributing could resume with a maximum workforce of 10 workers, as long as they can maintain proper social distances within the workspaces. Other things were interior residential construction could resume with up to 10 workers in an uninhabited structure. Commercial construction, interior commercial construction was also able to resume if they were able to operate in discrete and isolated locations in the building with dedicated entrances and exits, and also hand washing facilities. Other support services and retail services that had not previously been deemed as essential were able to reopen with limited curbside pickup, delivery, warehouse and distribution operations. Again, that was just some of the highlights. The full details, though, can be seen at either the addendum 12 itself, or like I said, on the Agency of Commerce Community Development website for more details. Last thing I just wanted to discuss was the local emergency management plan. I know it was discussed at our last select board, and I believe everyone had a chance to review that. If that could be adopted or voted or warned and adopted, and the adoption form that can be sent up to Vermont Emergency Management. Electronic copies can be sent up. Original signatures would not be required. Once that is sent up, then that would also enable us for any future reimbursement or funding type things from FEMA or the state. Subject to any questions, though, that's all kind of I had.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Any questions for Paul?
Oh, what's the shelf life on those emergency foods that they were giving out at the airport? Do you know?
The ones that gave out were the MREs.
Yeah.
I can personally attest, I've had some that, if I remember correctly, as long as they were looked at by lot number either every 7 or 10 years and deemed valid, they would still be issued out. But it was somewhere in that range. That was they got a good shelf life. But there is something though that I know the Department of Defense agencies, they do have to do whatever the occurrence is to test to make sure their lot numbers every so many years.
Apparently, you don't need any heat source. You just add water, and it heats it up. Some chemical reaction. I don't know.
Yeah, there is a little heat packet in there.
Yeah.
Quite familiar with those. Early ones never had that, so that's a nice luxury.
Right.
Pretty tasty, are they?
Haven't eaten those. They're horrible.
You gotta be
Well,
Depends on
hungry.
how
after
hungry you are.
I will say after 20 years, though, they improved dramatically from when I first had some to.
I hope so. I hope so. They were awful. Yeah.
Okay, as Paul indicated, we had a new update to our local emergency management plan, LEMP. I'm looking for a motion from someone to approve that as circulated.
So moved.
Moved by Ken. Is there a second?
Second, Joe.
Second by Joe. Thank you. Any discussion on the LEMP? All in favor of approving the LEMP as circulated? Joe?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim? Yes. So the LEMP is approved by a vote of 500. How many signatures do we need on that? Do you recall, Dave?
We just need your signature on it, and then we'll forward it to Paul. He has to sign it. And then Paul, if you will send a copy to me and to the state so it's recorded. And then we'll be all set.
All right, I will do that.
Dave, if you like, I can meet at town hall if it's left on the desk and sign right there. If that helps any, instead of sending it back and
Okay.
forth.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few things for people to stop in and sign after this meeting. So yeah, it'll be on the conference table. So whenever you can stop by, we can let you in and you can sign it up.
Okay,
good.
I'll be in after work tomorrow, about 3:30.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, very good. That was emergency manager's report. We did the discussion on expanding roadside commercial zone. Takes us to item 10, roads report. Dave Kiernan, what have you got for us?
Well, the crew's about working its routine maintenance at this point, ditching, tree work, things like that. Most all the restrictions are off, especially with the 10-man work crews. Our guys work separately anyway, or at a great distance. They're adhering to all the rules, so we're virtually without anything that would really impede our normal operations at this point. We are going to adjust inside the garage so that on a rainy day, if we can have more than a couple of people in there doing work, but we can also work outside on those days also. So they're pretty much back up to normal operation. We still have a few limitations with due to the overall situation and childcare and lack of schools being in. Some guys are still having to take time off. I'm looking into our ability to have some of that funds reimbursed through FEMA because we're trying to adhere to the state mandates on letting people have time off with pay. So we're going to see what we can do with that. It's kind of a large thing they're putting out there from FEMA for all kinds of things, and this is a very small part of it. So I'm not sure how that'll turn out. But so far, there's only one employee who is really over the 80-hour mandated extra sick time or personal leave time that came down at the beginning of this, and that's all for childcare. So we'll keep our eye on that and work through it to the end. Other things that are coming up for them, we did get notification from the state today that we shouldn't expect any money for paving or structural grants anytime soon. Normally those announcements would be coming out now, and they just basically said we'll get back to you. There's no clear sign. I wouldn't count on it. I've already spoken to Mike about there will be no construction until probably the fall because we have to see, not the fall, excuse me, spring of 21. Because our fiscal year starts July 1st, we don't have any grants yet from the state, not expecting them till late in the year. And we'll have to see how everything goes and how much money we'll actually have to spend on projects. So the rest of this year will be a lot of maintenance. And we have lots of ditching to do. We have lots of tree work to do, lots of grading. So they can certainly do a lot of things without getting into like the major type of road improvements we would like to do. And without some state funding, that would be hard to do to begin with. Little culverts, we can put those in. A few stone pillows, we could do that. But there won't be any of the large stuff like the things we did last year. I'm also going to look at is.
Go ahead.
I'm also going to look at the Hollow Hideaway project. I mean, we were given the grant money for that. We were going to put that out to bid for construction starting next year. But I want to confirm, given the current situations, that we will still be getting that $175,000 from the state before we award any bid, because without that money, we're not building any bridge out there. So we'll check on that before we get that going. And
do we have any time constraints on that money?
The end of next year. But if the state turns around and says we can't have the money, then I assume we'll get another extension. The bridge culvert still has life left in it, and we follow the engineer's recommendations for clearing some things around it to make sure it stays up to snuff. It's not in any critical condition. But if the state says you can't have the 175 this year or fiscal 21, we'll have to ask for an extension into 22. Without $175,000 from the state, we don't have the money to do that. As long as it's remained stable, which it is, there's no great rush into doing it. You can wait for the money. I assume the state has already put that money aside like they normally do, but given the situation, especially the statewide tax revenue they're looking at, I wouldn't want to guarantee that they're going to get that in a timely manner. And to carry that kind of burden, not knowing where we're going for the next year, could also be a big problem. If we have 175,000 out of the general fund we have to make up, we would be running to a bank. So it's just a matter of prudence, waiting to make sure where the money is.
Can we get by, Dave, if we don't get any grants at all?
Yeah, we'll just keep. Yeah, we can keep working. Like I said, we can continue doing ditching. We have all the equipment to do ditching. Any normal size culvert that needs replacing, we can replace. We can continue to do a lot of work, tree work, the grading, little patching of potholes. We won't be able to pave anything. But, we can just generate plenty of work. It just won't be some of the major improvements like we did this year.
Right.
but we can certainly, everything will keep moving. It has to. We just won't do, like I said, the big projects.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't get any grants at all with what I hear on the news.
Yeah, I'm playing it as nothing is getting done until I know that the money is guaranteed. And I don't think we're going to know that for quite some time.
Yeah, no, I
So,
agree with that.
yeah.
Improvement.
So if we don't do it in the spring, if we don't do it in the spring of next year, maybe things will be better going into fiscal 22, starting next summer, and we'll catch up. But I think, like I said, anything major has to be on pause for right now. And if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
an emergency thing, like a bridge goes or something, then we just get the money from FEMA and we build the bridge. That's
Yeah.
actually easier. But you know, nobody really knows where this is going. We'll just have to sit and wait.
Right.
Dave, this is Art. You talk about tree work, but we were, because of budget constraints, we really can't hire the Greater Heights to assist us. Is that not right? This all has to be just stuff that they can do without taking down a power line or something like that.
Well, we will be able to. I've spoken to Mike about. We need a last piece of this puzzle, as we were talking about earlier, about cash flow, which is really the problem here.
Yes.
The education fund money, we received notice that it was coming. We'd like to have it before we give a green light to some things, which would be spending the tree money for this year. And we can start Greater Heights on that. And then next year, the money will be there because that's a separate account. So I'm not too concerned about where that goes. So we will have money to help them with the big trees.
Okay,
and
good
a real
enough.
hazard tree just comes into, it has to go. I have to find the money somewhere. If it has to go, it has to go.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think we have to count ourselves lucky that our bad mud season was last year and not this year.
Yes.
We seem to have snuck by without too many problems this year.
Yes, and then the roads have been improved a great deal. I drive around on them now, and they are in much better condition than they have been in quite some time. We have been lucky, and they've done a lot of work on them. And this past year, there were a lot of improvements to a lot of the worst areas of the road. So hope for a mild winter if this continues on, because it could be nasty.
Go to those pillows and start catching up to us.
I'd like to make a comment. I think this year, with a grader going out every spring or every morning, even when there was some frost, and just cuffing off the worst of it, I think that made a big improvement. In years past, they wouldn't send a grader out until the whole road was dry. And this year, Mike was right on it every morning, getting the worst spots, and I think it was a big help in the end.
Yeah, I agree. Getting them out and getting on things sooner and not waiting for the perfect moment to do something does help out. And that's really all I have for roads tonight.
Any other comments? All right, thank you, Dave. Item 11 is grant list filing extension. That has been recommended to us that we go ahead essentially and acknowledge an extension that has been approved by the legislature, extending the deadline for filing the grant list from June, I'm not sure exactly what the date in June was, to August 15th. That was done in anticipation that people might be having trouble getting their grant list put together because of illness of employees or other trauma induced by the current situation. As I understand it, we are on track to have our grand list ready by the June deadline. But in an abundance of caution, it's been recommended that we go ahead and essentially sign the paperwork acknowledging that it can be extended to August 15th. Do I have that right, Dave?
Yes, and I can give you an update. I was speaking with the listers this morning. They had just spoken to our paid assessor from Nimrick to finalize his work with the grand list. He just needs 3 additional details on 3 additional properties, which may be as simple as measuring the exterior of the houses. We're getting a confirmation on that, and I did that when I was a zoning officer in other towns. So I was like, if Larry, you can't go out there, I'll be glad to go measure the circumference of the house for you. We did follow what our professional assessor wanted. Some 60 properties were looked at, following PVR rules, no interior inspections, staying off the property for the most part. And our professional assessor just says he needs these 3 more pieces of information, and he can basically file the whole thing. So we're in very good shape, but they just want to make sure. So this extension, which the PVR is recommending we get, we're asking the board just to approve.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the grand list extension filing date until August 15th, 2020?
This is Art, so move.
Moved by Art. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Tony.
Second by Ken. Any discussion? The question is, do we extend the grand list filing date to August 15th? Joe?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim votes yes. So the grand list extension motion to August 15th is approved by a vote of 5-0-0. Okay. Item 12 is appointment of hazard mitigation planning team / work with BCRC. Dave, I need you to explain that one to me.
For us to get going on the hazard mitigation plan, which will be something Paul will really be heading. Yes, Paul. We need to formally appoint the members of it at the select board meeting. We've discussed before that it would be Paul, myself. We need Mike Gennady from the highway department to put some input there, and I recommended Shelley Stiles for zoning, because she has a lot of knowledge of GIS and different wetlands, specific things which you would be very helpful with. And then if a member of the board wants to be part of it too, we'll basically have a kickoff meeting, and then the bulk of the material is produced by BCRC, because it's basically compiling a lot of data from different tables and books. We have some things that as a committee we'll have to go over the goals from the last one, where they stand and what we need to move forward on. But tonight it's just basically the board approving a committee of myself, Paul, Shelley Stiles, Mike Gennady, and any member of the board that wants to participate in it.
Would any member of the board like to participate in this hazard mitigation plan work team?
I'll get on it.
Thank you, Ken. Is there a motion to appoint a hazard mitigation work team, planning and work team consisting of Dave, Paul, Shelley, Mike, and Ken?
So move. This is
Moved
Art.
by Art,
Second, Joe.
second by Joe. Thank you. Any discussion? The question is, shall we appoint Dave, Paul, Shelley, Mike, and Ken to the hazard mitigation planning work team? Joe?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim? Yes. Okay, so that is that motion is approved by a vote of 5-0-0. Do we have paperwork for that, Dave?
No, I'll just do a notification to BCRC, and then I'll let everybody know when the first meeting will be set up.
Okay, very good. Item 13, fire warden and deputy fire warden appointments. I know there is paperwork for this one.
Yes, and this is one of those we'll have to leave on the conference table because it requires everyone's signature. Not everyone, we need 3 members to make it official. So whichever 3 members can stop by town hall tomorrow and just sign these, that would be great. One of them is to appoint Eric Bushy as the town forest fire warden. The second one is to appoint Eddie Schul as the town deputy forest fire warden. And that's it for those. So we need a motion for the forest fire warden and then a motion for the deputy forest fire warden.
All right, I'm looking for a motion to appoint Eric Bushy as fire warden and Eddie Schul as deputy fire warden. I think we can
This
do
is
that in
Ken.
one step.
So move.
Moved by Ken,
Second, Joe.
seconded by Joe. Any discussion? The question is, do we appoint Eric Bushy fire warden and Eddie Schul as deputy fire warden? Joe,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Tim votes yes, so that motion carries by a vote of 5-0-0.
Okay, and we have one more to appoint Eddie Schul as the town deputy forest fire warden from this date to June 30th of this year. It's to fill in the vacancy. Eric becomes forest fire warden on the resignation of the prior one, but Eddie has to be appointed from now until June 20th. The ones you just approved start July 1st. I should have said that first, but
Okay, without objection, the previous motion will reflect the July 1st appointment date. We need another motion to appoint Eddie Schul deputy fire warden from now until June 31, 2020. Do I have that right? June
Yes.
30, 2020?
Yes.
This is
This
Ken.
is Art. So move.
Moved by Ken, second by Art. Discussion. Question is, do we appoint Eddie Schul deputy fire warden from current date to 30 June 2020? Joe?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim votes yes. That motion carries by a vote of 5-0-0. And so that is an action item for all of us to stop by and sign those documents. We need 3 signatures for that. I can do that. Who?
What time you gonna have it? What time you have
Ken?
it out?
It'll be on the table tomorrow morning. If 3 people can stop by tomorrow morning, that would work.
All right.
I can stop by tomorrow afternoon.
I'll be by in the morning. This is Art.
Okay.
Okay, so we got our 3.
I can make it.
Tim, Ken, and Art can get by there tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Good.
Good. And then we have the certificate of completion.
Sorry, say again?
We have the Vermont Municipal Bond Bank certificate of project completion for the garage. This is
Yeah,
just
we're gonna get,
yeah.
that's down there, another item
Nope,
in
went
other
past those.
business. We still have one other thing. Town operations update. We voted a few weeks ago to increase the pay-as-you-throw rate on a bag of trash from $1 to $2. Dave has pointed out, given the current health and financial crisis, maybe we should not impose that burden on people right now and rescind that comments.
I would agree with that, Ken.
Is there a motion to rescind the payment increase for pay-as-you-throw trash
I'll move, Joe.
Moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Ken. Any more discussion? The question is, do we rescind the pay-as-you-throw increase in trash that was scheduled for July 1, 2020 from $1 to $2 to rescind that? Joe?
Yes.
Tim, should we put a date on this?
We were yeah, the motion reads rescinding the increase that was planned for July 1.
But as far as, okay, yeah.
Yeah, such
I'm
time
looking,
as we think it's appropriate to impose it, we'll bring it up again.
okay,
Maybe when the state opens back up fully.
okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Okay, let's start over. Joe?
Yes.
Art?
Yes,
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim votes yes. That motion is agreed to by a vote of 4-0-0. We will not increase the pay-as-you-throw rate at the transfer station on July 1. Okay, other business. Dave has some paperwork for the Vermont Bond Bank.
This is very simple, but I do need the same 3 people tomorrow if they can sign it. It just certifies that the garage has been substantially completed so as to permit efficient use and operations of the borrower. It needs to be signed by 3 members of the board, approved by the board, and then also signed by the treasurer. This is just closeout paperwork.
this is our so move.
We have a motion from Art to certify project completion on the garage. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ken. Any discussion? Question is, do we certify project completion on the garage to the Vermont Bond Bank? Joe?
Yes.
Art?
Yes,
Ken?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim votes yes. That motion carries 5-0-0. And can we have the same 3 guys sign that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, and then we've got somebody that wants to reassign addresses in the entirety of Perrin Acres, it looks like.
Yeah, that's neither Shelley or I think this is a good idea. These numbers have been assigned since Parent Acres was created. There appear to be, as the gentleman from the state went over it, as he said, pretty much with a fine-tooth comb, because they started by one address was added at the very end of Lake Street. Its numbers are completely inconsistent because the house is actually in Bennington. Its only access is through the end of Lake Street. It's going to be an issue, if you ask me, always, because you're going to have to respond to a Bennington address by driving all the way through to Lake Street in Shaftsbury. But to try and rectify that, he went through, and if you looked at what I sent out, what he's really saying is that we should change a couple of numbers by adding, like the first one, taking the current number is 17, and he wants to change it to 20. That means the homeowner there has to change every single address they have, and most of these streets are so short. I'll be honest, responding to thousands of calls over 25 years, I don't think a number being 3 feet off would have thrown me that much. To be looking for number 20 where number 17 was. The red ones that he put on here are the ones that I thought were really in the wrong place, and that mostly had to do with odd and even. I don't know when these were signed. I don't know, when was Parent Acres built, like 30, 40 years ago?
at least.
Started
Yeah.
in the 70s.
Yeah, so these numbers have been assigned to these houses for 50 years. And I think it's awfully disruptive to try and do this. He's not saying we have to, but Shell and I both thought, well, we shouldn't just say no to this. The board really has to look at this and decide.
But going through the document, they're recommending we change just about every address out there, aren't they?
Yeah, to have it perfectly measured out, which, obviously some of these are a few feet off in the calculations. But, you know, we would certainly be hearing it from the people out there if we told everyone on this list of houses, which does appear to be most of the development, that they have to change all their mailing addresses, all their billing addresses, every record they have to change, like I said, a number from 17 to 20.
What
Which if
that,
you're in
what would that cost us, Dave? The town?
well, probably nothing. Getting people to do it would be the real issue.
Yeah,
All
but
they have to do is
what's the
file a
point?
change
I
of
mean, I
address with
don't,
the post office.
Well, it's not only that, it's every single legal document they have, including how their house is recorded as, like the first one, number 17. Well, suddenly we make it number 20. So it has to be changed on a lot of records and everything. And every bill they have, everything record they have at that address would have to be changed. It's we're not
Yeah,
talking
these
like
are
these.
all just changing. I see one here that changes it by 14 numbers. Here's one that changes it by 45. I guess that's the biggest one, but all the rest are just a few houses down, right? I mean, like you said, you're used to responding to 911 calls. If you don't find it right where you expect, you look a few houses down, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the 100 block, you're looking in the 100 block. If it's a 117, well, you'd turn your head because if you're at hit 120, 117 must be like right opposites the street. The ones where they're on the harder ones that he has here that I don't like is when you go through a cul-de-sac, you get to a certain angle where you're supposed to change from odd to even. And when this was designed, some didn't change correctly. So you'll have an even on one side when it should be odd. And it's like, okay, but there's 6 houses. You know, it's really difficult for the homeowner to be told they have to change their address of a house that's been in the same place for 50 years. Nothing's new there. This all came from the very last entry on here, 780 Lake Street, which isn't even in Shaftsbury, it's in Bennington. And it just 780 is so far off the grid that he was just questioning how did this even happen. The red line you're looking at there is the boundary, and the house is way off in Bennington, but it has no other access. My main concern would be with the 780 house and making sure that Bennington realizes that when they get a call to 780 Lake Street, that they're not looking for Lake Street somewhere else, and that they realize they have to drive all the way into Shaftsbury, come all the way up the end of this street to get to this house. That's going to be a confusing response, especially for people who aren't used to going to that neighborhood. That would be my only concern with this. The rest of these are pretty minor, and once you get in there, like I said, these are all done by math and how many feet away, and you divide it by another number. But these are all very close to where they should be. And if you're on a thumbnail dead end and you're looking for 17, the house you're looking at is 20, there's only 4 other houses to look at. It's not going to be too dramatic.
But what is the
Now,
recommendation in this document to deal with 780?
nothing. You know, that's how it turns out. It's 780, and the driveway is in Shaftsbury, but the house is in Bennington, and there's no way to really rectify that.
So it's just they noticed that this 780 might be hard to get to, and in the process of looking at that, they decided everybody else should take one step left, basically.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason, when this was submitted for a 911 number, he went back and really combed through this entire development and found I would presume, and having done some 911 stuff here, going through it, you know, not every measurement takes you right to where the driveway is supposed to be. Not everyone is, you know, exactly in the right place. And a lot of what he has here is moving it, you know, like I said, from 17 to 20 or 18 to 20 so that, you know, it's at the right footage. And that's easy to do on paper, much harder to tell people who've been in a house for 40 years that, oh, your address is now changing.
Does his number have to be 780, Dave?
To follow the formula, apparently, yes.
Well, in that one case, would it be possible to just add him in like it says 718 there? What if you made his number 720? Wouldn't that put him
Yeah,
back in Shaftsbury?
yeah. I mean, 780, 720. Because of where it is, they're going to find his house. It's just really a matter of them knowing that 780 Lake Street in Bennington has to be accessed by driving several miles in and around Shaftsbury. Because all south of where you see the property line from 780, there's no access from
Right.
Bennington.
But wouldn't
So
that be a Shaftsbury call anyway? Just because of its location?
no, it's a police call to Bennington. It's a rescue call to Bennington, and it's a fire call to Bennington. It's to me that's the main issue, and this trip down to check every
So,
address in the whole development is not really
right.
the
So,
issue.
so everybody's got to change for his one number. That ain't
No, nobody has to change for his number. This guy in the state
no,
just
but he
withdrew.
wants everybody to change.
He's
Basically,
making a recommendation. He's not mandating it. That's why we're bringing it to the board, because Shelley and I don't want to just say, well, we're not doing it.
yeah.
And
I've
all these
seen,
changes, sorry, all these changes in parent acres, moving everybody, like I said, take one step left, doesn't address the issue of 780.
No, not at all. It's apples and oranges.
yes,
Yeah.
my, and I've seen sometimes the post office, if you don't have the exact number, they won't leave it. This could be a nightmare for everybody in Parent Acres, changing all their making sure all their bills get sent to
Yeah,
the right one. Sometimes they won't leave it if you don't have the exact number on your mailbox.
yeah,
They don't go by names anymore. I,
yeah.
I make the motion that we don't change Parent Acres.
Second,
We have a motion to not act on the recommendation that the majority, I believe is the right term, of addresses in parent acres be adjusted to conform with 911 formulas. Does that say it?
Yeah, I think that
Yes.
about covers it.
That is moved by Art, second by Ken. Any discussion?
Joe's parents have the same problem. They live in the village of North Bennington, but their driveway exits off from 67 through Shaftsbury. I
Yeah,
can
the
remember
property lines, North Bennington, Shasbury.
yeah, Joe's father, when he was alive, had a hell of a time getting his tax returns right
Yeah,
because they asked him what his address was, and he put down something, and it just didn't compute.
He had
It's a
to put down, yeah, I think he had to put down Greenwich Street rear.
yeah, that's right. It's a nightmare.
it's horrible, horrible. I don't have my mailbox on the right side of the road.
Well, that was one thing is they just went with a PO box, and that
Yeah,
made it very easy. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to suggest that we adjust the motion to read, do we act on the recommendation of changing most of the email addresses in parent acres to conform with 911 formula? And we're all, sounds like, in agreement that we will vote no on that motion just to avoid a double negative. Is that fine with everybody?
Oh, yes. Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is, shall we change all the addresses or the majority of the addresses in parent acres to conform with the recommendations that they conform with 911 formula? The consensus is we don't do that. Joe,
No,
Art,
No.
Ken,
No.
Tony,
Yes. No, sorry.
Tim votes no. That is, the motion is not agreed to by a vote of 050. And Dave, you will take care of notifying them of our decision?
Yes. Yep.
Any other business?
Yeah, we probably should have taken care of it in public announcements, but what's the status of the Memorial Day parade?
The Memorial Day parade will not happen for obvious reasons. We can't have any gatherings. We have something planned, though. We are planning an unattended event that will be uh, recorded by Cat TV and possibly live streamed by Cat TV at the cemetery on Memorial Day at sunset. Sue Green will be there to play taps and probably some other uh, uh, music with her trumpet. Victor Harward, the head of our Veterans Committee, has some people that would like to say a few words. These things will happen on that day. They will be recorded, like I say, hopefully streamed. People might want to walk out on their porches if they live around there and hear the music, hear the speeches, but we will not be calling people to gather there. But uh, the direct answer to the question is we're not going to be able to host a Memorial Day parade. But we are seeking to have an event that will honor our fallen heroes on that day.
Thank you.
If I can, I'll bring up the Green Up Day. The governor misspoke. It has not been canceled. It is tentatively rescheduled for May 30th. I don't have further information on that, but for obvious reason, it was postponed from last weekend. But they are planning on having it the weekend of May 30th.
Dave, are you aware that somebody picked up the whole length of White Creek Road? There were bags all along the edge of the road ready to be picked up.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Doesn't mean Mike doesn't know it, but I'll ask him in the morning.
Is the state picking that up or are we responsible for it?
Oh, we'd be doing that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because normally that stuff would be brought in unless it was it's a town road, so the state wouldn't have picked it up, so.
Okay. That's what Norm's garbage truck was bought for.
We'll call Norm.
That's right.
Norm has a tool for everything.
That's right.
Okay, no other business in reviewing action items. I promised to email the Planning Commission's document on roadside commercial to the Select Board. I have several documents to sign, the LEMP and the Grand List extension. We have 3 Select Board members who are coming in tomorrow to sign documents about Fire Warden and Vermont Bond Bank. Dave, of course, has a list of things, but he keeps his own list.
Yeah. No, we're good. That should do it.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Ken,
Second.
second by Tony. Shall we adjourn? Joe,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes,
Tim votes yes. We stand adjourned.
thank
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Yeah,
Have a good night, everybody.
good night.